Hi, I'm Cindy. Welcome to Hot Yoga Tales. This is a show about the journey of two people who've never taken yoga before. And each week we experience a different type of yoga. Stay tuned after class to see how Kelly and Torsten do in their yoga practice this week. Yoga is such an amazing activity for every person and all body types. Today we're going to be doing a breathing class. Breath is the foundation of all of yoga, and there are a variety of breathing techniques. If you're practicing along from home, listen to your body and focus your mind. Let's join Michael now to lead us through our breathing practice today.
To start in our practice tonight, we're going to be laying back in our Shavasana pose. With our legs spread about mat width apart, ankles rooted firmly in the ground, toes dangling heavy, making their way down towards the earth. Relaxing that space between the eyebrows, the area outside the eyes. The tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Relaxing here with our breath. We take the arms just slightly outside from the body, keeping our palms facing up to receive energy, or keeping them face down to be grounded, whatever your choice may be. Tonight's class is going to be featured on breathing. It'll be in two parts. The first part will be a flow of asanas. The second part will be featuring our pranayama, or breathing techniques. As we lay now in the first part in our Shavasana, let's focus in on the breath. With our poses tonight, we're going to treat the breath and the body as though they are dancing together, keeping them together in perfect harmony. Take a deep inhale now as you feel your stomach expand high towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And on your exhale, let it fall. Inhaling again, sending that breath down to the stomach. Exhale, let it fall. We're going to do 3 more of these breaths, spending time in our deep belly breaths. A lot of the time throughout our days, we take shallow breaths into the chest, not enjoying the benefits that can be offered from taking deep breaths. On our third exhale, let's let the breath come back to natural. We're going to move into a breathing exercise now called star breathing. We'll be sending our breath through every part of the body. We're going to focus on 5 points here: the palms of our hands, the centers of our feet, and the crown of our head. We'll lay back now, laying still in our Shavasana, as we take a nice deep breath into the stomach. On the exhale, let's send that breath up through the chest, out through the right shoulder, down right arm, and out through the right palm. Draw it back in with your inhale as you pull the breath through that right palm, up the right arm, through the chest, and back down to the stomach, where we hold for a moment, absorbing the benefits of our breath. Exhale as we send the breath out through our right leg, sending it out through that right foot. Inhale, pulling it back in. Let it linger in the tummy for just a moment. Exhale now as we push it out through the left leg and out through left foot. Drawing in on the inhale, up through left foot, into the tummy, holding again. Exhale as it moves up through the chest, out left arm, and out through the palm. Inhaling, the breath comes back in, flowing up through the chest, down into the tummy, where we hold once more for a moment. Through the crown of the head this time, let's exhale and release that breath as it moves up through the chest, neck, face, and out through the crown of the head. Inhale as the breath moves back in through crown, down through the neck, chest, and in the tummy where we hold. Now, with a light exhale, release through the nose. Feeling the effects of the breath. For those of us who are new to our yoga practice, it can take us time to adjust to this. Let's now invite a bit of movement into the body by just beginning to wiggle the fingers. Wiggle the toes. Slightly lift the wrists and rotate. Going in the opposite direction. Dropping the wrists, let's lift the ankles. Rotating in one direction. And then the opposite. Letting the ankles fall on the exhale to the ground. Let's take an inhale and move our legs together at the center of the mat. On the exhale, we'll push them to the front of the room. Take another inhale as you lift the arms above the chest. Let's interlace the fingers, rotate the palms, and on the exhale, press towards the back of the room. Staying here with the breath. On the inhales, lift the arms and ease up slightly. On the exhale, push a little deeper. Staying here for 2 more breaths. On that second exhale, allow the arms to fall along the side of the body. Take an inhale now as we take them up to either a T or a cactus. Depending on the space, that'll be your preference. Take an exhale. Inhale, we lift the knees to the ceiling, feet plant. Exhale, we drop the legs to the right side of the room, coming to find our first laying twist. Focusing in with the breath. Inhales, easing up slightly. Exhale, push a little deeper. To complete this twist, you can take your gaze to the opposite direction, being your left. For more of a challenge, try stacking your hips upon one another. Place the thigh on thigh, calf on calf, and foot on foot. We really want to focus here on our left shoulder, keeping it rooted, while keeping the legs planted. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths as we let our body detoxify in this twist. We'll take a 4th inhale and lift the legs back up to the sky, keeping feet planted, knees facing the ceiling. Exhale now as we take the legs to the left side. Our gaze comes over to the right, focusing in with the breath again. Inhales, maybe lifting the legs slightly. Exhale, pushing them deeper, pushing that right hip closer to that left wall. Remembering to keep your right shoulder rooted firmly into the ground. Once you have your hips stacked on top of the other, thigh on thigh, calf on calf, foot on foot, really try pressing with that right hip closer to the left wall while pressing that right shoulder into the ground as though your body's moving in 2 different directions. To even out the side, we'll stay here for 2 more breaths. With the third inhale, we'll lift the knees. Gaze comes to neutral. Feet are planted. Exhale, we'll take the palms down towards the sits bones, hugging them in close. If it's available to you, walk the ankles back to your middle fingers. This is more for a reference for alignment. If your fingers cannot touch the ankles, do not mind. Visualize the alignment instead. Keeping the knees parallel to one another, space between the legs, not touching. Let's take an inhale. Move the palms out slightly from the sits bones and lift the pelvis towards the sky. Easing up very slowly. Exhale, we move down. We'll warm up our our backs for just a few moments here. Inhale, we lift again. Exhale, we push a little deeper. Once more, we'll take a deep inhale, lifting as high as we can. Perhaps giving an arc even in our chest. If we like, we could even roll onto the shoulders, clasp arms beneath, and press into the floor. With this one, to deepen, on the exhales, lower down just a touch. Inhale, take it higher. Again, exhale, coming down just a touch. And inhale, we move higher. Holding here for 3 more breaths. Our back bends help to put our muscles back in alignment from our twists. It's very important that we come into a back bend sometime or sooner after we do a twist. With that third exhale, let's uncurl the shoulders from beneath, release the hands, palms are flat, the sits bones lower to the floor. Inhale now as we draw the legs into the chest. Palms come slightly beneath the knees. Gaze is neutral. On the exhale, let's fall to our right side. Inhale, we lift up and over to the left. Exhale, we fall to the right. If you like to take a challenge, close your eyes. Inhaling up to the left. Exhale to the right. Let your breath become the guide in this flow. Let go of the mind as you focus solely on your breath. Letting the breath be the cue to fall to the right on the exhale. Inhale, lifting up and over. We'll do this twice more on each side. Taking the time with our breath. And eventually just coming to neutral. We'll open the eyes. With your inhale, let's take the right arm up along the head. On the exhale, roll over to your right side, coming into a fetal position. We like to move up slowly from a laying pose so that our blood pressure can regulate. Stay here for 2 breaths for safe measure. And with the third inhale, we'll lift up to an easy seated pose at the front of our mats. We're going to start now by opening up our hips, taking in a little bit more of a forceful movement into the body. Bring together the 2 feet on an inhale. Exhale, grasp the front of your feet and let the knees fall towards the floor. Keep the back straight, shoulders back, chin slightly tucked, and work with your breath. Inhale, lift the knees. Exhale, push a little deeper. To deepen in this pose, we're going to open the palms of our feet as though we're opening a book. Pressing the elbows into the calves, we'll lean forward. This is going to be quite an intense hip opener. Move cautiously and slowly with your body. If you feel too intense of a ripping sensation in the hips, move out of the pose immediately. Working with the breath here, we stay. Inhale, perhaps just coming up slightly, and exhale, pushing a little deeper. Let's inhale and move up to a straight back. Once again, we clasp the feet, keeping our back straight, knees coming down as far as they can. Let's exhale with a straight back as we move forward. The goal of this pose is to eventually have our foreheads touching the floor, knees on the floor. This will come in time. For now, connect with your breath. Inhale, lift just a touch. Exhale, pushing a little deeper. Let's inhale now to a straight back. The knees come up to one another, feet plant. Take an exhale. Inhale, we'll lift our right arm to the sky, and on an exhale, take it behind. Inhale, the left arm rises. Exhale, we take left elbow down to right knee. As we twist, our gaze moves to the back of the room if it's available to us. Focus in here with the breath. Connect with your breath. Inhale, perhaps ease up slightly by moving that right shoulder closer to the right wall. Then exhale, push that left shoulder closer to right wall, and right shoulder closer to left. Moving at your own pace with your inhales. Staying here for one more breath. With that second inhale, let's lift that left arm to the sky. Take an exhale. Inhale, right arm rises, palms meet. Close your eyes as you exhale and take your palms down to your heart center. Stay here for 2 breaths to connect. Open the eyes with that second inhale. Palms lift. Exhale. We cross the legs. We're going to take an inhale now and move forward to our tabletop pose. And on an exhale, untuck those back toes as you sit back into your child's pose. Keeping the arms completely forward or taking them behind for a passive child's pose. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a few moments. Welcome back. We're going to continue on now with our breathing class. As we sit here in our child's pose, on an inhale, we're going to lift up and forward, coming into our tabletop position. In our tabletop, we're going to find our proper alignment here. Your toes can either be tucked or they can be untucked with the tops of the feet planted. We're going to keep our shoulders directly above the wrists and hip directly above the knees. In this pose, we're purely relying on the strength of our bones. To test this, we'll inhale, move slightly forward. Feel the muscles working. Exhale, move back to your tabletop. Feel as though your muscles are now relaxing. The pose is much easier. In yoga, we rely a lot on the bone stacking. This pose and many others. From here now, we're going to move into some more breathing exercises for our cat and cows. Moving into our cow, we're going to take a deep inhale. Let that belly sink towards the floor, sits bones rise, shoulders clench together, gaze comes to the ceiling. Exhale, as you round the back, your gaze comes to your thighs. Inhale, belly drops, gaze rises. Exhale to our cat. Like we did with our rolls earlier, close your eyes. Let the breath be your cue. On the inhale, let the belly drop, head rises, and exhale. We're going to do 5 more of these at our own pace, letting the breath be your guide. Let go of the mind. Let the breath be your key to becoming present in the moment. Like a dance, the breath and the body move in one motion. Once we've finished our 3 cats and cows, we'll simply come back to our neutral tabletop position. We'll now move into a balance. The key to a balance is keeping a clear mind. When our mind is clear, our bodies will be clear. Connect with your breath. Let's take a deep inhale, press firmly with that left arm as we lift the right. Take an exhale. Inhale, our left leg rises. Taking an exhale. If you wish to deepen, you can inhale, lifting that left leg, lifting the right. To further deepen, on an exhale, curl that back leg as your hand reaches back to touch. You'll now find yourself in a twist. Staying here for 2 breaths. Let your mind be still and focus on your breath as you become present here in this pose. Let's exhale now and release. Tuck those toes. Inhale, press firmly into right arm, left arm rises. Take an exhale. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale once more. If you wish to deepen, inhale up and exhale grab. Whatever your preference is, respect your body for where it is today. You may even find that you have better balance on one side than you do the other. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Let the mind ease away and melt as your awareness comes onto the breath. Second exhale, let's release. Take a deep inhale, untuck those toes, and exhale, sit back. We're going to now move into the second stage of our class, our pranayama. Our pranayama is a technique we use of a series of breathing exercises to learn to control our breath. Prana and Veda texts literally means our life force. Ayama means control. We are controlling our life force. We'll start now by opening up our nostrils. To do so, the first exercise we'll do is our Kapalabhati. With a rapid exhale, we'll contract the lower abdomen and suck it in. Inhale, we'll relax the stomach. Something like this. We'll then take our fingers in towards the stomach, thumbs touch, and flap the arms with our Kapalabhati. We'll go for 20 times. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Take a deep inhale. Let's lift the arms to the sky. Palms touch. Close the eyes and exhale. Palms to our heart center. Stay here for a moment. With an exhale now, let's push on from our left side into our hands. Lift the sits bones off from the legs and sweep them around and cross. Coming out of our hero pose safely. We'll now lead into our second breathing exercise, our Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. We'll first start by taking our left hand into a mudra, by taking our pointer finger to the thumb and resting that down onto our knee. If you are not open to this, you can simply keep the palm facing down to ground or palm up to receive energy. You'll then take your right hand, place your middle and pointer finger down, keeping your ring and thumb together. We will then take the fingers to the left nostril. In this exercise, we're going to focus on doubling our exhales to that of our inhales. So on an exhale, we'll count to 4. Closing that left nostril, opening the right. Let's exhale for 4 counts. Inhale for 2. The thumb comes to rest on the nose as the fingers lift off from the face, and exhale again for 4. Inhale for 2. And now we'll start to move at our own pace, perhaps doubling the counts, maybe lessening it, keeping our backs straight, when we use our Nadi Shodhana breathing exercise, we are regulating the energies in our body, our active energy, and our passive energies. Doubling our exhales to that of our inhales, we are also releasing toxins by freeing stored air trapped inside the lungs. It is a perfect way to calm down if you've had a very busy and stressful day. Ideally, we'd like to do this for 5 minutes, but we're just going to continue on 3 times on each side until we end by exhaling out through our left nostril. Once we have finished, we'll take our other hand down into a mudra, where we'll take a moment for our breath to still. Centering with ourselves as we close our eyes. Perhaps seeing our flame within, in our center, feeling a sense of warmth, of being at home. Opening our eyes on the inhale, taking an exhale. We'll now move through a series of our Kapalabhatis and our butterfly breaths. To demonstrate first, we'll do our Kapalabhati. Again, on the exhale, we contract that lower abdomen. Inhale, we relax. Our butterfly breaths. To practice this one, we'll take our pointer finger and just take it to the top of our lip. Exhale very gently. We almost do not want to feel the breath touching the fingers. You should almost feel just a touch of warm air grazing the top of that finger. This is a very rapid breath that occurs very shallow in the chest. Imagine, if you will, a dog panting. Take the finger away. Like a dog panting and very shallow, almost does not make a noise. We go for 20 butterfly breaths. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. We'll now go for 20 Kapalabhati, our rapid breathing. Deep inhale and 20 Kapalabhati. Taking a deep inhale once more. Exhale. We'll go for another 20 butterfly breaths. We'll continue on to do 2 sets, 20 butterfly breaths, 20 Kapalabhati, followed by another set of butterfly breaths, and then Kapalabhati. Starting with our Kapalabhati, we go for 20. Deep inhale, exhale, 20 butterfly breaths. Deep inhale, and exhale. Inhale once more, and 20 Kapalabhati. Inhale again, and exhale, 20 butterfly breaths. Once we have finished, another inhale, and 20 Kapalabhati. Another inhale, and exhale, 20 butterfly breaths. Let's take an inhale, exhale. We'll now move into our Bhastrika breath. For anyone who has any asthma, breathing problems, this is not suggested for you. It is a very forceful breath. How it works is you draw in the breath nice and deep on the inhale, and exhale, you forcefully release it through your nose. we're going to try 5 to start. So we'll start with that deep inhale and exhale. Again, we inhale. 3 more. Take an inhale, exhale, and inhale. Hold our breath for a moment. If you like, you can take your fingers, plug your nose, and engage the lock of your throat by gently tucking your chin in. Hold your breath for as long as possible. Do not pass out. If you feel as though you are losing breath, becoming shaky, your vision is going blurry, take an inhale. Work slowly and respect your body. Let's take an inhale now. And we'll go for 5 more Bhastrika breaths. Exhale, and a forceful inhale for 1. Take an inhale, fingers come, chin tucks. Again, staying here as long as possible. Let's take an exhale now and release. And inhale. We're going to take the palms above our head, close the eyes, and exhale. Take the palms down to your heart center. We'll spend a moment here, seeing the light within, and take a moment with ourselves in peace, as we are now going to take a quick break. Welcome back to your breathing class. For anyone who experiences any kind of pain from sitting for a prolonged period of time in this pose, feel free to use a block. You can gently rest the block or a pillow or a rolled up towel beneath the sits bones, adding comfort. This will also allow you to take your knees closer to the ground. Always doing what is right and comfortable for your body, being safe through your yoga practice. Now that we have come to the end of our breathing exercises, we're going to conclude tonight's practice through a few more asanas before resting in our final Shavasana. If you do have a block beneath you, gently take it away at this point. Set it aside where it will not interfere with your practice. We're going to take an inhale now, moving forward, coming back into our tabletop pose. Moving through a series of gentle poses, we'll now move into our thread the needle pose. With a nice inhale, press firmly into that right palm as you lift the left arm. Take an exhale as you bring that left arm through, coming to rest on the crown of your head. Do this safely. We don't want to be resting on the side of our face. Come to the crown of the head. To deepen in this pose, you can inhale that right leg back. Exhale, you can slowly walk it in closer to those left fingertips. Let's take an exhale now, removing that leg back. Inhale, we lift up back into our tabletop. Take an exhale. Inhale, pressing in firmly with that left palm. We lift the right. And exhale, we sweep through, coming into our thread the needle on the opposite side. If we like again to deepen, we can inhale that left leg back and exhale. Bring it closer to the right. Let's take an inhale. Move that right leg back. Take an exhale. Inhale, we'll push up back into our tabletop. Take an exhale now as you untuck those toes and rest back in your hero's pose. Take an inhale, we'll lift the arms to the sky. And exhale, we'll take them down to the heart center. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. It is said that if we sit in our hero's pose for 5 minutes a day, eventually we'll be able to cure any ailments in the legs. Seeing as how we'll only be here for 5 breaths, you'll need to continue on at your own pace. Be very gentle with the knees. Too much pressure at once can cause damage. If you find this pose uncomfortable, feel free to use your block. Remembering that your block can be put any which way, and rest it beneath the sits bones. Again, if it's available, a pillow, towel could be used instead. Once you've come to your 5th exhale, let's move back, coming into our tabletop position. Take a deep inhale and exhale, cross one leg over the other as we sit back into an easy seated pose. We'll now inhale the knees up, plant the feet, take an exhale, bring the arms in front with an inhale, exhale once more. We'll move up into our boat pose. As you inhale, lift your feet to one of 3 poses, either slightly up, halfway, or fully extended. If you're going to keep your feet fully extended, keep your back straight and your toes pointed directly in front. Whatever you find is comfortable for you. We're going to hold this once again for 5 breaths. Whenever you are in question of how long to hold a pose, stay for 5 breaths. Eventually, you'll stay longer in the poses as you learn to control the breath, taking it deeper, longer. You can learn this through practicing your pranayama breathing techniques on a regular basis, steadying the breath. When the mind is still, you'll find you can bear those poses a little bit longer. For now, let's take an exhale as we move back, laying in our shavasana. Just for a moment to take a break, letting the body relax. We're going to move now into our waterfall pose. From our shavasana, let's inhale our legs together at the center of our mat. Take an exhale. Keeping the arms in fairly close to the body, let's inhale and lift those legs straight up to the air so that our body is in an L shape. Ideally, we like to stay in this pose for about 2 minutes, letting all that blood pool down from the feet. For those of us who stand for many hours of the day, this can be quite therapeutic. If you find this uncomfortable, you can feel free to use a block beneath. Or, once again, you can use a towel or a pillow. Resting beneath the sits bones, you can rise up, adding ease. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. And on that second exhale, gently lower down. We're going to move back into some twists to ease down our practice tonight. Inhale, taking the arms to either the T or the cactus once again. We exhale. Inhale, lifting the knees. Exhale, we drop down to the right side. Again, our gaze can come to the left side if that's available to us. Connecting with the breath once again. Really rooting down with that left shoulder, stacking the hips upon each other. Really focus in with the breath. Taking one more sip of air. Release with the exhale. And now inhale as we lift the knees up to the sky. Exhale, we take them down to the left side this time. Staying here for 4 more breaths. Using the breath. If at any point you find your mind wanders, just come back to that breath. Like the dance I talked about in the beginning of class. With that inhale, move up slightly. Exhale, pushing deeper. Always coordinating that breath with the body movements. Inhale now as you take the knees up. Take an exhale as you bring the palms down towards the sits bones, walking the fingers in a touch. And inhale, rise up slightly to your bridge pose. Just taking a moment to set the back muscles back into place. Exhale, we lower down. Take an inhale and exhale. Extend those feet, laying back into your Shavasana. Keeping the arms just slightly outside of the body. The feet mat width apart. Ankles rooted, toes are heavy. Shoulders are pressed into the floor. Relaxing. Turning off the mind, connecting with the breath. Our Shavasana is the most important pose of our yoga practice. It's a time that our body is able to heal. Spend this time in peace with yourself as you connect with your breath, the key to being present. Always take your Shavasana for as long as you need to in your own practice. But for tonight, we'll stay here for 1 more breath. With your next inhale, gently wiggle the fingers. Exhale. Inhale, bring the legs together at the center of the mat. Take an exhale. Inhale, legs move into the chest. Arm rises up. Exhale, we roll over to the right side. Staying here for 2 more breaths, allowing that left hand to plant into the ground as we connect with the earth 1 last time. With a 3rd inhale, we'll rise up to an easy seated pose. Take an exhale. Inhale, we'll lift the arms to the sky. And exhale, take them down to the heart center. Being at one once again in our core. Thank you for letting me guide you through this practice. It has been an honor being here, teaching these students and teaching all of you. From my life to yours, namaste.
The breathing class for me was a little challenging. I guess I was looking forward to working out. I had this perception that I was going to have more of a workout. It was a workout in the sense that we were breathing. I didn't feel super comfortable sitting cross-legged at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night. I was tired, and I think I would have preferred to be tired holding poses. But I recognize that I need more practice with breathing, that everybody would. It's interesting. I asked, why do we breathe in and out through our nose? Because in other fitness, it's in through the nose and then it's a powerful breath through your mouth. And one of the reasons that he gave me that satisfied me was it creates internal heat. And that, because I'd experienced that reason was good for me. And the other idea that we're using our nose to detoxify, so I'm coming to understand that more. So I found it a little bit frustrating, definitely challenging, but I can definitely see the purpose in it and why it's important to do.
I felt kind of almost a guilt, like, I wasn't getting the workout I should get. If I'm going to give the time and I'm going to do it, I should get a workout. And maybe that goes back to days of competitive swimming or doing weights or things like that, or going on a treadmill where you're there for a purpose. And this was an awful lot of breathing. And I guess it was really meant to make you aware of your breath and getting rid of stress in a different way that was less physical. In some ways it wasn't difficult because just when we practiced each of the 6 breathing steps, and I know we had names for them that I can't remember, when you went through them, it was almost like you were trying to keep up with someone doing a Zumba class or something with all the moves, but all the moves were very slow and had to do with breathing. So it was only when we got to kind of slow down at the end that my brain turned back on. But I find the whole yoga experience is like that. Because it's so new to me, I'll come in and I'll be worried about work or something going on at home or this and that, and then I all of a sudden do the class and I find that my brain just turns off because I really have to focus on what I'm doing. I suppose once I get good at the yoga moves and I get more comfortable with them, I don't know whether my brain will switch back on or whether I will get really good at just pushing everything aside. But I find that for that 45 minutes, hour or so, it's pretty good at focusing my brain on something other than, thinking 100 miles an hour about everything like we all do. So.